I don't usually give my secrets away, but here's one that I'm gonna kind of let out here.
There are some businesses, they take the death of a person and find a way to profit on it. Just so disgusting. Sad.
You know, my gratitude goes out towards this family.
Cheers,
Successful 2023.
Welcome to the podcast.
Thank you. I'm excited to be here.
I'll talk about whatever. My life's all kinds of crazy.
Because you have an Android.
Oh, yeah. That's what it is. Just subscribe already. Justin Hutchinson,
Yes,
welcome to the podcast, man.
buddy.
So Justin here has RPM, Shine Pros, detailing.
Yep.
And you said you're out of Cuba, Missouri?
That's kind of the general area I stay at. I do mobile for the most part.
Yeah.
Um,
So your detailing company, we really kind of just jumped right into this, but Justin here has a detailing company, but you're out of Cuba, Missouri. That's like where your location's out of, but you're wanting to focus on mobile detailing.
right. That's kind of where I'm at now. I used to be located in Beaufort, off of 50 there, kind of catty corner to Voss Market. COVID hit, shut me down. You know, I tried and I tried, couldn't. I mean, nobody wanted you in their cars. You know.
Yeah.
It was just one of them things. I mean, it was kind of a learning curve for me, and what to do and what not to do, prices, everything, what people can afford. It's a little different coming out of COVID. Seems like people don't have quite as much money. But as far like now, I revamped, changed the name of the company, more professional. You know, RPM, Shine Pros, but it's. I think it was a good thing getting shut down the first time, because it kind of opened my eyes. I was a little too much into it. I was a little too cocky per se about it.
Sure.
It's
It's a little humbling.
yeah. So I mean, it kind of set me back in my chair, and it was like, how are we gonna do this different so we're more successful?
Mm-hmm.
And in that period of time, I went up to Kansas City. My family, we have a welding company up there. We got a new shop. My dad's calling me, hey, I need your help. So I packed my bag up and same day head up to Kansas City. I go up there for 2 to 3 weeks. I come back home. You know, I miss my kid. You know, I'm driving back and forth every single weekend. Go up there Monday morning, drive back Friday after work, see my kid. I was sleeping in my truck at the time because I didn't have nowhere to stay down here because I moved up to Kansas City.
Mm-hmm.
So I'd drive down here, spend the weekend with my kids, sleep in my truck, head back up to Kansas City, go back to work. And then, you know, I did that back and forth for a while, and then I tried to work for some smojos around here. You know, I worked for a couple different body shops. You know Gateway Classic Mustang,
Mm-hmm.
Bourbon. I
Yep.
worked for them. They were a good company, you know. I got to work on Bigfoot, the big monster truck
Yeah.
or whatever.
Yeah.
Did a couple. I mean, I jumped right into that because I mean I did body for Pro Body Works in Union for a while too.
Oh yeah. A big one.
Yeah. So, and that guy, I have nothing bad to say about him. He's awesome. He's awesome. It just wasn't working out for me at the time.
Sure.
In the position I
Well,
was.
because it sounds like your dad. You said your dad has a welding shop in Kansas City,
Yeah.
and it sounds like you're just an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
It kind of runs through your blood.
Yeah.
You know, they call entrepreneurs the unemployable.
Right, and that's my whole family. I mean, my uncle, we took I think it was 1800s barn made by the Amish, and we turned it into a bar called Dry Creek Saloon. We built that thing for 3 years until we finally got done. Opened it up, COVID shut him down.
Damn.
And he's still shut. He does events and weddings and stuff. It's more of an event center now.
Yeah.
Because insurance and everything skyrocketed. It's hard for him. He's small town.
Yeah.
He has a huge business in a small town.
Dude, event centers are honestly like the wedding venues and these event centers, I think is the better business anyway.
Yeah, and
Might have been a blessing and a curse.
that's what I try to explain to him. You know, we all in all, we tore down about 5 or 6 old barns to make one barn. So like we had to redo all the structural. Everything underneath is new, but everything that you see is 1800s, 1900s old wood. Looks like a barn, right? And everything's custom. I mean, my uncle's a very artsy guy. He used to paint jets for Learjet out in Wichita, and then he worked on the railroad. And, he is the one that kind of raised me. So that's kind of where I get my umph in life from is him, because I mean, my mom. I don't know my mom. I met her when I was 16, but she wasn't.
She was never in your life.
No, she walked out as a baby. Chose other activities other than us kids. And I have an older brother too that's same mom, same dad. And he's kind of the same way. When I actually own part of this company up in Kansas City, it's only 1%, but I own that 1% of it. More or less a silent partner. But it was me, my brother, my grandpa, and my dad that started this thing up about 3 or 4 years ago. I mean, now it's turning into a big thing down there. I mean, we do all of the city of Kansas City's work, and that's part of me why I keep going back up there is because, I mean, it's part of my responsibility too.
Well, how long you been detailing? Because you said you did it before COVID. COVID shut you down. Now you're back doing it again.
So before I started up that detailing company, I did it on the side, kind of like a side hustle, what I mean? Extra money. I never could get enough money. And it's not all about the money, but like I wanted things.
Yeah.
I felt like
you
I
got to have
needed
money
things.
to survive too.
Yeah, so I wanted like a Jeep or a rock crawler or something like that. So what I do, I went and worked for it. Hey, I'll detail your car, just neighbors around, you know what I mean? And I started up mowing lawns, in my little small town back in Kansas.
Yeah, it's a very common thing.
Hey,
You hear a lot of people that, especially young entrepreneurs, that's where a lot of them start. That's where I started.
yeah,
the same thing.
it was, Grandpa, can I borrow your weed eater and push mower? And I'd walk around town, knock on doors. Hey, can I mow your lawn?
Yeah.
And, yeah, how much you charge? $5, And to me, $5, man, that was a good day at the pool back then,
Yeah.
So it really just started out there, and it's grown and it's grown and it's grown, and then, like I said, COVID shut me down, and
So before COVID, it was still somewhat of a side hustle then?
yeah, it's been a side hustle since, I mean, right out of high school. Just kind of did it for friends and family, and I was detailing my grandpa's truck because he likes his truck clean. Well, of course, we're farmers, so trucks get dirty.
Yeah.
Well, I always enjoyed seeing a
Farm trucks are the worst too.
Oh my
'Cause
gosh,
I've done my fair share of cleaning.
boy.
And yeah, I mean, the farmers' trucks are always the worst because they're in the mud, in the field. It's mud caked up in the wheel wells. They're carrying the mud into the truck, and it's just caked all throughout the truck.
Yeah.
They get bad. The worst trucks I've ever seen are always farm trucks.
Oh yeah. Well, I just did one. It was a 2023 Chevy Dually or GMC. Nice truck, and it was a state trooper buddy of mine out there, and he's like, "You think you can get that thing clean?" I was like, "Well, yeah."
They can
And
all be cleaned up.
yeah, but I didn't really, I took a gander at it, glanced at it. Yeah, I can do that. Then he's like, well, can you come pick it up and take it to your house and do it? I was like, yeah, that's fine. So I did, and I get there, and I'm like, driving this thing home, I had my old lady drop me off, and I'm like, man, this thing's kind of how do you get this dirty this fast? It's a brand new truck, and
Is he a farmer?
yeah,
is a
he
farmer.
works at the Cuba Cell Barn and he's a state trooper as well.
Okay.
So, I mean, he's always, like the day that I dropped it off after the detail, he's like, all right, well, I'm going to go hook up to the cattle trailer and go haul some cows. I'm like, great, I'll see you next week.
So as soon as he picked it up, he's right back to work.
Oh, yeah, 100%. But he's like, he's wanting to support my business, and it's a brand new truck, so he wants to keep up on it. So, I mean, he'll probably bring it to me once or twice a month.
Have you ever thought about doing I always thought about this. I would love to pay maybe a year, like packages. I would love to pay for maybe a year package where once a month I could get my vehicle detailed. Like say maybe you pay $500 and you get a year's worth of detailing packages.
So I actually used to do that exact package.
Yeah.
So, but
But 500 is kind of cheap, ain't it?
yes, but it wasn't. So I offered like 2 or 3 different packages. This is with my old detail company. There was like 2 or 3 different packages. I'm trying to remember. So my cheapest one was $500, and that was pretty much a wipe down, vac, and spot shampoo. So like I would shampoo your seats, which it don't take much time if they're not bad. You know, you bring it in once a month. I clean it. Um, Spot shampoo your seats, spot shampoo your carpets. Just kind of do a general wipe down. I didn't do nook and cranny, and a good vacuum and a wash.
Just a basic detail.
Yeah, just your baseline detail. I mean, it wasn't nothing special, but they knew that going into that.
That's my vehicles don't get that nasty anymore. But you pick up little rocks and pebbles, and you're driving down the road and you get dirt on it. And yeah, once a month, that's what I would want. Just a basic detail.
Oh, for sure.
I don't need the seats pulled out. I don't need things shampooed. It's just clean the thing up because I'm busy and I don't have time to clean it up. And it's nice to be able to just drop it off. I can go do whatever I got to do, and then I come back, my car's clean.
Well, that's a lot of thing about the mobile too. A lot of
Yes.
people are busy.
Mm-hmm.
I can come if you have right now until I get my water tank. If you have a source of water, I'm good to go.
Yeah.
I can do a dry wash on something if I'm doing like a polish or something. But as far as that goes, I mean, most people are busy. They don't have time to find somebody to drop them off and pick them up.
Yeah.
Or they have
The
one
mobile part
vehicle.
is so big.
Oh yeah,
So big.
100%.
Because that's a lot of times that's my biggest problem is like when I'm going to work, I want to drop my car off to get it detailed, but I don't have someone to give me a ride home
Yeah,
or
exactly.
give me a ride to work.
Yep.
So it's like, well, I'd like to, but I don't have a ride today.
Right.
I don't have someone to pick me up for when I drop my car off, and then go have them take me back to pick it back up later, which is a small problem, but it's still like the mobile thing is the convenience part, which is very important.
And then I also offer pickup and drop off. So like I have a little Chevy Sonic that I take, and it allows me to, if you're okay with me leaving my car there, I lock it up, bring my keys with me, take your car over to my place, detail it, bring it back.
Yeah.
So that is a lot of what I get.
Yeah.
I mean, especially with these dealerships. I have this deal going on with Action Auto in Stillville. I do all their cars. I'm trying to get quality in Cuba, but they're just kind of,
Back and forth right now.
back and forth right now. They don't know if they want to spend the extra money, but I'm trying to tell them that it's so much. I mean, the cleaner the car, the easier it's going to sell because people think it's nicer. Of course that's business, but that's like my main thing that I get is pick up and drop off. That helps people out so much. Like it extends that service.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I would love it. Now you were saying this dually that you were working on the other day. Is that the worst one you ever done? What's the worst vehicle you've ever had to do?
No.
Like, what is the nastiest one you've ever had to do? Because I had one, and luckily we got out. We got out of it. But it was the guys at Hot Shot.
Yeah.
You know what Hot Shotting is? Anyone that's listening, you guys are. Make sure you guys like and subscribe. You guys are listening. But this guy was a hot shotter, which is it's a. What is it? Usually a guy just with a pickup truck, dually of some kind, and they take smaller loads.
Yeah, so it's just like a truck driver, but smaller capacity.
Yeah. Maybe if like a company has a pallet full of something,
Right.
bricks, that they need hauled from St. Louis to Kansas City, and they don't want to have to call a semi truck. They come and pick it up and take it all the way there, and they need it delivered that day.
Yep.
It's an important load. They got to take it there that day. And so this guy was hot shotting, and I think he also did campers. I think he did like RVs and campers.
That's a big.
Where he hauled back and forth. But it was just himself. I think it was like this Ford. This is years ago, but it was like a Ford F-350 extended cab dually, and the dude lived in it with his cat.
Oh, really?
He brought his cat along. I've seen dogs, but this was a cat, which any animal in your car full time is shedding like crazy.
Yeah, that's bad.
But he had filled the whole entire back with just like McDonald's bags and all kinds of food, and the whole entire back was filled up to the ceiling. So it was an extended cab, filled all the way to the ceiling, and then the passenger seat was the exact same way. He had a cubby in the trash, just nooked out for his cat to sleep in.
Starting to sound like my old lady's car.
Dude, it was disgusting. It was the grossest thing I had ever, like, even the raunchy smell.
Oh yeah,
That when you open up the door, it would like knock you back.
rotten fruit and grease,
Oh yeah, it was just
sweaty feet.
yeah, and it was on the dash. Like I don't even think the cat laid on the trash anymore. I think the cat slept on the dash.
Oh,
But it was hair. It was cat hair. But we like just looking through there. I remember seeing like the cat would just crap in the truck.
Oh.
So you have cat crap, you have old food, you have trash, and it was. I don't know how someone honestly even worked out this thing. I would think they would get sick.
Yeah. I mean, I say that to just about every vehicle I get. I'm like, how?
How's
You
it
know,
get this bad?
How does it get this bad? You know, but smile and wave.
Yeah.
Smile and wave.
You had one that bad before?
Yeah. So I got one actually coming up that is supposed to be that bad. I haven't seen it yet, but I'm not looking forward to it.
Yeah. It's part of
But-
the business.
Yeah. It is. It's what I do. It's what I chose to do. But I think the worst vehicle that I've had to do with mold, and what it was is the what do they call that? Sunroof
Mm-hmm.
didn't seal in this
Mhm.
car, and
Yeah.
it sat at a automotive shop for like 5 years waiting to get fixed. It had some other issues or whatever.
5 years is a long time to let something sit.
Yeah. Well, I think that's how long it took them to pay the bill off.
Ah, okay.
So I got it, and man, mold everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
There was grass growing in the carpet.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. It was terrible. And the smell, you ever walked into a really wet basement
Yeah.
and it just smells like soured water?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's what it smelled like?
Yeah.
So do you replace the carpet or do you pull it out and pressure
So-
wash it, shampoo it?
In cases like that, I will pull the seats, pull the carpet, pull the trim. I will power wash everything.
Mm-hmm.
Soap it, scrub it, power wash it, rinse, wash,
It's
repeat.
the only thing other than replacing it, you have to do that.
Yeah, you have to. I mean, it's not a fun process. It's kind of tedious, really, but I mean, it's a good money maker doing that stuff. And to be honest with you, a lot of people,
Do you think it'd be cheaper just to replace the carpet though?
yeah, I do, and I don't know why people don't do it
Yeah.
because I'll replace the carpet too.
Yeah.
Uh,
It does seem easier.
yeah,
Like, I mean, sure, it might take a week or two to order the carpet, but it's not that expensive.
no, and most of them are pre-fit, you know.
Yeah.
And gosh, you can. I think you can buy. For instance, you get like a old Jeep Cherokee or something.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know about the newer
Yeah, because
vehicles.
Jeeps are probably the number one thing that
Oh yeah.
the carpet and flooring gets destroyed in.
Yeah, and you can pick up a new carpet for $150.
Right.
You know,
Pre-fitted.
yeah, it's gonna cost you $200 to $300 for me to pull it out, clean it, and put it back in.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, you get the carpet. It's never gonna come 100% clean.
Right.
You know, it is what it is, and that's what I tell people. Like, this is the best it's gonna get. Because I mean, I'm very nitpicky with myself and my work.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I take pride in my stuff, so.
Yeah, you gotta when you're pressure washing it and you're scrubbing it and cleaning it and all that stuff, you gotta wait. It has to hang up. You gotta wait for all that water to drain out of it.
Well, most of the time I'll squeegee it, or I'll take my vacuum or my shampooer and I'll suck the water back out of it.
Yeah, but it's still a little damp.
Yeah, it's still damp, you know, and I'll put it in the vehicle damp and it just dries over time, you know, but leave the doors open as I'm detailing everything else. So that if I have to do something like that, that is the first thing I will do. I will pull it out.
So it gets to dry in as
Yeah,
quick as possible.
and while it's drying, I will start doing the outside and
Mhm.
everything else. And once I finish up with that, about that time, it's as dry as it's going to get, you know, because I got to do everything in a timely manner, or else I'm losing money. You know that.
Yeah,
So,
yeah. If you don't have a system
yeah.
and you're having to like backtrack over things, you're just losing money.
Oh, yeah. And, you know,
Wasting time.
every vehicle I have a list that I go through.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, every once in a while, I'm not perfect. I miss something. I'll miss a door jam or a door pocket. You know, it is what it is. But that's just something that I have to keep on working with myself. Just for instance, I missed a door pocket on a car for a dealership the other day. Or no, I'm sorry, it was for a funeral home that I did. Car was filthy, absolutely dirty. Ain't been detailed in probably 6 years, the guy said. And it was just dust everywhere. Every nook and cranny had dust and dead flower petals, from going to funerals and stuff.
Sure.
Well, I did that, and I missed a door pocket. I had a couple flat. I just went up there and did it, when he had free time and fixed, my mess up. So that was my mistake. But yeah, man, it's going.
Yeah. Well, that kind of stuff happens.
Yeah,
Nobody's perfect.
yeah,
I mean, you don't obviously don't want to do it. You don't have to. You don't want callbacks. You don't have to go up and do it. But it does happen every
Yeah.
now and then.
Yeah.
Nobody's perfect. I was just thinking about like another car because I did body work from 16 to like 27, 28 years old.
right.
And I remember working in a body shop one time, and I can't remember why this car came in. Oh yeah, they had a mouse in it. That's what it was. It had a mouse, and they thought the best. I'm trying to think what they did first. They did two different methods. They had two methods to this madness. It was the craziest thing I've ever seen. But they first put because they couldn't catch this mouse. They tried putting traps and stuff in, and it didn't work.
Right.
So then I think they just locked their cat in it, their cat or their dog, one of the animals. They locked
horrible.
locked in the car. So then it had, so the car is covered in this hair now from this one animal, but this animal didn't catch it. I don't remember if it was a cat or dog, but they locked it in it, and I think it was actually a dog, not even a cat, but a dog. They locked the dog in it, and then that didn't work out. So then they heard that goats would kill a mouse. So then what they did was it was an SUV, and they popped the back hatch, and they laid straw down in the back hatch and put a goat in it, and the goat was eating the seats because it was just stuck in there with nothing else to do. Like, I mean, goats will tear stuff up. They'll climb on your vehicles, all this stuff. And then they brought it to us to one, get rid of the mouse, and then two, fix all this other crap. And it was just, I mean, it literally looked like a stall, like a
Yep.
barn stall. And it had hay in it, and all the seats were all chewed up. And it's like, what are you thinking? What are you thinking when you do this stuff? Mice are hard to get, though.
Yeah.
Vehicle.
I've ran into a couple mice. Mostly right there in the cabin filter area. Somebody
yeah.
they'll bring me a cabin filter.
Yep.
Like, hey, can you replace this? And most, that's behind the glove box most of the time. And if it's an easy one to get to, I'll be like, yeah, I'm a detail, not a mechanic shop, but I will. Just like a guy come to me, he's like, hey, can you replace this seat? Brought me a whole nother seat. I was like, yeah, I charge $5 a bolt to take out, so $20. Yeah, I'll take it out. So I did that, and but as far as like another thing that
You ever
just
seen a mouse in it? Or the mouse was
dead mouse.
Oh, it was
Yeah,
dead. So it was
mouse.
stinking.
Yeah, it was stinking real bad.
Gotcha.
I knew what it was as soon as I opened the door.
Mhm.
Because it smelled like mouse
Mhm.
shit and piss.
Yeah.
Yeah, gross. But another thing that just come to mind, you asked me about one of the worst vehicles I did. I think that was my own one time. And the reason
Your own?
yeah, so and that sounds crazy, but I'm a pretty nice guy, pretty gullible sometimes. And I have a hard time saying no. So a person once asked me if I could go get a cow for them, a
Okay.
baby cow.
Yeah.
I didn't have a trailer at the time.
Uh-huh.
So what did we do? We drove all the way up to Nebraska,
Holy
went and got
cow.
that baby cow, and put it in the back seat of my truck.
Wow.
You know what scours is?
Uh-uh.
I was okay. So it's like cow diarrhea.
Okay.
So, and it smells
See where this is going?
absolutely horrible.
Uh-huh.
Well, this thing crapped all over the back of my truck, inside,
All the way back from Nebraska, too.
all the way back. Like, this happened as soon as we were leaving the farm,
Uh-huh.
and I had to smell it.
Yeah, these
Here
people,
I-
these people that you were picking the cow up from probably thought you were insane.
Oh, 100%, and I was agreeing with them. Like, yeah, I am insane for
This is
doing
dumb.
this.
Yep.
This is dumb. And she's over here like, well, we'll just take it out and walk it like a dog and let it go to the bathroom. No, it don't work that way.
Mm-mm.
I had to take my door panels completely off to clean this thing because it had ran into my speaker holes.
Oh, my
And it was just
God.
everywhere. I had to take my seat out. I actually Yeah, it was so bad.
Mm-hmm.
So terrible. I actually took it to my buddy Austin up in Kansas City on the way down from Nebraska.
Mm-hmm.
I said, dude, clean this up the best you can.
Mm-hmm.
Like, just clean it up the best you can. I will pay. I paid him like $250 just to get the raw crap out of the back of my truck because I drove all the way from Nebraska to Kansas City with my head out the window.
I believe it.
Yeah,
I bet
was
it's
gagging the whole
stunk.
way.
I bet it stunk.
It was
man.
terrible. It was
Because
terrible.
you drive by like a dairy farm or a cow farm.
That's what it was. Little
Yeah.
baby dairy cow.
Reeks.
Oh, bad.
Reeks. Oh my, yeah, that sucks, man.
Yeah.
Probably never did that again.
No.
What ended up happening to the cow? Did you make any money on it?
I think they still have it.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So it wasn't like they weren't raising it for meat, or
I
was it
think-
not that long ago?
I think it was just a pet, more or
Mhm.
less. At that
Sure.
point.
People do get attached.
Yeah.
People buy 'em. I
Oh,
know a lot of people that they'll bottle feed them and keep them up at their house. And
Yeah. Well, the farmer failed to tell us his cow was sick with scours,
Mhm.
and if
so
I
whenever
would,
that happens, is it recoverable?
yeah. I mean, it's just like
It's just an illness.
it's like a stomach flu to
Gotcha.
cows as it is to us.
Yeah.
Get stomach flu, your belly gets rumbly.
Yeah.
You know, you're on the
Probably not a
ground.
big deal if you have a horse trailer or like a cow trailer. Or
Yeah,
something to
no,
carry 'em in.
it's no different if you got that, but in the back seat of your truck's a little different.
Yeah. Yikes! Why didn't you get a trailer?
Oh, you know what? They were all busy. All the trailers were being used,
Sure.
and we had to go right then and there. So it was like, well, okay. At first, it was we're gonna put it in the bed of the truck. Well, on our way up there, we were just like, we're gonna stop and get some cattle panels, blah blah blah, to kind of wrap inside the bed of the truck so it don't fall out or whatever have you.
Jump out.
Yeah. So, but on the way there, every like Orscheln's we stopped to or whatever didn't have any in stock, so we were stuck to putting it in the back seat. So, I mean, it is what it is, but that was definitely one of my worst ones.
Yeah, sounds terrible.
Oh, my truck smelled like cow crap for like months.
I bet it
I
did.
couldn't get it
I
out.
bet that's a hard smell to get out.
You had to wear it out, like just.
Takes time to get it out
Oh
of there.
man, yeah, I stank bombed it and everything, and it just still just hung
Yeah,
around.
because going back to farmers trucks, you can like you know when it's been a farmer's truck, even when it's been cleaned up.
Hmm.
And I did buy a truck to flip one time. It was had a flatbed on. It was a hay bale, like it had a hay bale spike bed on it.
Yeah.
And it was just caked in mud, and I think I had to detail it 3 times to get it cleaned up, to get it looking nice again. Because we took the flatbed off of it. I put a normal bed back on it. Because that was like one of my young hustles was flipping cars.
Yeah, I used to
So
do it too.
Just bringing them back to life, and yeah, it was raw.
Yeah.
and it even had it had the rubber floors.
Oh, so it's a work truck.
It was a work truck style, but it was just to get them like fresh black again, because they were like so full of mud that was like soaked down in the pores of
Oh,
the
yeah.
plastic. So I had to clean it all out, get all the mud out, wash it, scrub it, get it all clean. But even after I did that, detailed it the first time, it was still like soaked into the pore.
Oh yeah.
So then I had to wait for it to dry, clean it, I had to wait for it all to dry and then do it again, scrub it, had to put the whatever the shine, the dressing or whatever you want to call on it, really get that down in there, scrub it, clean it. I did it 2 or 3 times and I finally did get it good looking again.
So
Yeah, I had to pull the seats, everything.
oh yeah, one. I don't usually give my secrets away, but here's one that I'm gonna kind of let out here.
Okay.
To stuff like that, if you actually get a foaming degreaser, and they have drill attachments, little brushes,
Mhm.
and you get that foaming degreaser in there, you spray it down, let it foam up and bubble down to where it almost disappears.
Mhm.
Hit it with that drill brush,
Mhm.
and I mean, hit it with a shop vac. Just it pulls everything up, and it's
Sure.
shiny. Then
Yeah.
you put your dressing on it.
Oh, I can see that.
Yeah,
I
I mean,
see
it's there's tricks to the book, like I actually use laundry soap in one of my processes.
Really?
That's kind of a homemade cleaner per se.
Mhm.
It's just one of my ingredients in it that a lot of people's like laundry soap. Yeah,
Is this for fabrics or is this for
fabrics.
fabrics? Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, I guess that would make sense to me.
Yeah. So I mean, I have a mixture between stain removers, It's kind of my own little contraption that I made
Secret
a long
recipe.
time. Yeah, and it I got tired of spending a lot of money on stain removers and all this other stuff that really didn't work.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it kind of worked, but at the end of the day, it's like the smell's still there and the stain's kind of still just sitting there, kind of just spread out, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I just started messing around. You know, I had this one stain, big stain in the back of my truck, and I was like, oh, I'm just gonna start trying different things. And then the first thing that I tried got it up, and I just started mixing stuff.
Sure.
You know, I'm like, what did I put back? What did I put in that again?
Yeah.
Like, shoot, you know. So I
Yeah.
tried it again, and I was like,
At the end of the day,
okay.
it's all fabric, right?
Yeah. I mean, it's all.
These guys have been whatever company, whatever brand you use, they've probably been perfecting it for a long time, getting stains and crap out of clothes.
Oh yeah.
You know, like jackets, hoodies, shirts, whatever.
Well, Oxy, anything with Oxy is just like a big stain remover, you know. So I kind of incorporated that into my shampoo mixture, and I mean, it smells great. I mean, it smells like a laundry room when I get done with it, you know, because that fabric really holds that smell of what I use.
Mm-hmm.
But that Oxy acts, and if it's like a tan carpet, I'll throw a little bit of bleach in there.
Mm-hmm.
So it'll actually kind of
Because tan doesn't, it won't, because bleach will affect some stuff, right? Like
yes,
black.
100%.
You don't wanna use
don't
bleach on black.
ever like if I ever go from using bleach to a black truck, like my truck's completely black inside.
Mm-hmm.
I will completely break my shampooer down and clean it before I do that
Sure.
because I mean it needs done
Have
anyways.
you made the mistake before?
No, I have not.
Just know better.
I just know better. Yeah. So I almost have. I kind of forgot. I was like, and then my old lady's like, "Hey, didn't you use bleach in the last one?" Oh yeah, you know.
Yeah.
So
I feel like if you start getting in a rush, that's when, if it was going to happen, that's when it would happen.
it does.
You know, maybe get
yeah.
too many lined up in one day.
Mm-hmm.
That'd be tough.
Yeah.
And then it comes down, you got to buy all new seat covers, right?
yeah. I mean, that's my cost.
Yeah.
That's
You
not-
can't charge somebody else for that.
No, I never would. You know, it's if I mess something up, that's on me. That's what insurance is for.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, overall, you know, you get your good ones, your bad ones, your easy ones, the ones that take you 2
You
or
have
3
business
days.
insurance
Yes.
on this?
Yes. Some online company I went through, I seen on Facebook.
Yeah.
And it's like
Is it designed for detailing companies?
So I went through it, and they have these different categories that you check boxes in, what you do and don't do. So I overextended a little bit in case I wanted to venture out.
Mhm.
Like I added power washing, home power washing,
Mm-hmm.
sidewalks, all this other stuff. You know, mobile power washing was like the big thing because I'm really thinking about getting into that too as well.
Mhm.
But
It's very popular,
yeah, and
especially
you know,
if you guys watch a lot of TikTok.
yeah,
There's guys out there that are really doing it, and it's cool that you're doing it. I admire anyone that's like willing to like get out and try to hustle.
mhm.
You know, because everybody's got to start somewhere, and you know everybody's just so scared, and they think that maybe there's no money in it. I think a lot of times it's just like the effort. They're not willing to put the effort in to do it. I don't think I think like if I had to start all over again, I'd be doing the same exact thing. I'd be
Right.
doing all those little hustles. I wish I would have, instead of doing bodywork for so many years, I wish I would have done a little more hustles. Because how old are you?
28.
28. You know, you're still super, super young.
Oh yeah.
You know, like just, like, I mean, I know people in their 50s just starting a new business.
Oh yeah.
You know, and like people, a lot of people are like, oh, 30 is old. And it's like, 30 is so young.
Oh yeah.
You could start anything you want at 30. And I see the ambition in you because, you reached out to me about coming on the podcast. And that's how I always say anyone that is willing to come on my podcast is passionate about what they do.
Well, and this is way out of my
hustlers.
comfort zone too, because I'm
It's out
kind
of
of
everyone's comfort zone.
well,
man.
I'm kind of a in my shell type of guy. You
Yeah.
know, I have friends. I'll go out, but if attention's on me, I'm kind of like, look over there.
You don't like attention.
No, I mean that's everybody likes a little bit of attention.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not gonna say that I don't, but I don't like. It's not that I don't like. It's just I'm not. comfortable with it. Like I'm shy
Yeah.
in a sense.
No, I was the same way. I never liked birthday parties, like my own birthday parties, because I don't want everybody coming to the event and all eyes on me.
Right.
Like I felt like I had to like perform, like I had to. Everybody coming, you got to say, hey, thanks for coming, and talk to them, and if they bring in gifts, you got to appreciate the gifts, everything like that. Like I don't want gifts at holidays, nothing like that, because I don't. It doesn't mean nothing to me, and like I appreciate anything that anyone does for me, but I was never the best at also showing gratitude.
Right.
I was very grateful for everything everyone did for me, but I was just never good at showing it.
Right. You couldn't get it from here to here.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly
yeah,
what it
I'm
was.
the same way.
Like I was like, I could get someone could buy me a brand new car, and I was ecstatic about it, but I was just never one to like really show a lot of emotions
Right.
in that atmosphere, and it was something I had to learn along the way, and also learn that just a thank you goes so far. Because I used to people used to do stuff for me, and I never would say thank you, and I appreciated it, but I never needed that thank you, so I didn't realize that other people needed it too.
Right.
But even on the small things, like someone maybe just making you dinner at night, like just something so small, or someone just doing something for you.
Right. Yeah.
Just doing something very small, like maybe buying you a candy bar or an energy drink or something. Like I just take it, and it was what it was. But some people got offended,
Yeah.
and I never realized it because I never needed it. I could buy anybody anything. I could do anything for anyone, and I didn't need a thank you. Like a lot of times, I could tell if they felt appreciated by it, or even if they didn't. I didn't really care.
Right. Yeah. You were just doing your part.
Yeah, exactly. And so I got the satisfaction of helping them, and that's what all I needed really.
Right.
But then it was just something I learned over time that it was important to other people.
Oh yeah, for sure. And that's kind of, a lot of people, a lot of what I deal with, is people just talking to me. So like when I go to pick up a car, or they come to drop one off, or, they're calling about this, they start going on about their life, and this is after we discuss price and everything else. And you have them guys that are just like, well, I ain't paying that much. Well, I mean, that's what it cost.
Yeah.
You know?
Can't sell yourself short.
No, and that's just business tactics. Whenever you start a business, you're in that business to make money, make a good living. I'm in it to make a good living for myself and try to make something that maybe my kids want to have a part of.
Yeah.
It's a lot of people, they say detailing cars is easy. That's easy work,
It's definitely not easy. Man.
So, no.
It's definitely
It's
not
not.
easy.
And you got a little experience in that,
Yeah.
yourself. So you kind of understand where the whole thing comes about. It's not easy work. If it was easy, I wouldn't do it.
Well, it's so tedious.
Oh my gosh.
Like
it takes a lot of patience.
Yeah, it's not if you don't have that patience, because like I remember cleaning windshields. For one, you feel like you're breaking your arm and your shoulder because of the way the windshield's angled.
Oh yeah.
It's angled back at you.
Yeah.
And you have to get down, like it's so easy to miss like the corners.
Oh yeah.
Like because it's your window's at an angle meeting the dash, which is also angled up. So it's very hard to get your fingers down in there.
Mm-hmm.
And unless you can see the glass is so hard to clean.
Oh yeah.
And it's very easy just to smudge it around, think it's clean, and it's not. It's very tedious, and your shoulders are at a weird angle. You got you got to scrub on it. It's hard work.
Everything's awkward.
Everything's awkward, man. You
yeah.
got little crooks and crannies, and stuff
Especially
you gotta
getting
get
up
down
underneath the seats if you're like in a small car,
Yeah.
it's sitting right on the ground.
Yeah.
I mean, you're laying on the ground, chest all up inside there, cleaning it out, making sure that you get everything.
Yeah.
Because if you don't, I mean, you're gonna have callbacks.
It's gonna reflect on you.
Yeah.
You can. Yeah, dude. That was one thing that sucked about working on cars, is you could. And I painted cars for a living, but I did do my fair share of detailing. But I could repaint an entire car for someone, an entire car. Like it could be every panel on it could have had to be redone because there was something wrong with every single panel. I could repaint everything, detail the whole entire car for them, make it look better than it did coming off the factory lot. And there'd be one little imperfection like down on the rocker, just like a little scratch or like a rock chip or something you missed.
Yeah.
And that's what they're going to point out.
Oh yeah.
They're not going to be like, hey, my car looks great. Thanks for doing all this. They're going to look at it and they're going to be like, well, what about this scratch down here that you missed? You know, like it doesn't matter what you're going to do. There's some people that are just always just going to look for the one thing that's wrong. They're
Oh,
going to nitpick the hell out of it and just try to find something wrong.
Oh, yeah.
Instead of appreciating all the hard work that you did do.
Yep. I mean, if I was making stuff absolutely perfect to where I mean, they ain't even perfect off the lot, brand new,
No, they're not.
but
The only
they're clean, but they're not like,
Yeah.
you
The only
know,
reason people don't see that is because they think it's a brand new car, so they think it's perfect.
yeah.
So they don't go look at it. They don't go
Automatically
like,
assume.
yeah, they automatically assume it's perfect. And that's what, when I got to work in a body shop that was for a dealership, that was my favorite thing. Because I would go up and look, because a lot of the brand new cars come off the truck, they pull down to the body shop because we had a detailer below us.
And they're dirty when they arrive
come
off
in
the
dirty.
truck.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they come in dirty. But a lot of them also get rock chips down the
yeah.
highway. So we be painting brand new cars. So when you're getting a brand new car, you think it's going to be all brand new paint, no, never touched. We're already stripping something down, refixing it, repainting that whole panel.
Oh, yeah.
So now you got like these back tape lines on it, and as a good body man, you can do a good job. Nobody ever notices it, but they just assume it's perfect. And even ones that we didn't do work on, you still get fish eyes in the paint. You
yeah.
still get dirt nibs in the paint. There's still things wrong. Or like even like I remember looking at jams that were never sprayed fully. And so like the paint was transparent in some spots. There's so much stuff that is wrong with a new car, but because it's new, they overlook it.
Oh, yeah, they just don't pay attention. That's the biggest thing is they just don't pay attention because, it's a new car.
Yeah.
So,
Why would I?
Yeah.
It's already perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah. And there's things that I've seen that was wrong from the factory. Even like panels that didn't fit perfectly, like didn't line up perfectly, that they never checked. And it would be on like the opposite side of a car that I worked on. And I would like say if I fixed the driver's side fender, but the back passenger door maybe was off a little bit from the factory. Whenever they came to pick it up, they were nitpicking it so much, they would nitpick something like that. Like they'd be like, "Oh, this back door's off." He's like, they'd be like, "You did something wrong, and the back door's off. I think it needs adjusted." And I'm like, "I didn't touch the back door."
right.
That's how it was when it came in. And they're like, no, it wasn't like that before. And I'm like, well, it's just because you never looked at it that hard. This is the first time in 5 years that you've actually walked around your car and nitpicked it.
Oh,
They
yeah.
always assumed it was perfect.
Well, I used to work at a dealership as well over in Union, and we would have a checklist that we go through, looking at all the damage, door seals, everything like that, body gaps, and just see if we can find anything to check so that we can hold it liable against the shipping company. So, and 9 times out of 10, there was something wrong.
Yeah.
Whether it just be a paint flaw, there was one that come in that looked like the whole hood of it had this plastic wrap on it, and where the plastic wrap was, it almost like hazed the clear coat. And at the time, I was working for the dealership, so I couldn't do anything about it. I could have got it out nowadays, but they had to send it and go get it fixed. So, there's new vehicles, they may be new, but they're not.
They're not perfect.
Yeah, they're not perfect.
No.
So.
I learned to just, especially if I was working on the spot or not, I would always just like look around the vehicle and I would just tell the body shop manager, whoever was doing the estimates on the cars and working with the customer, I would make notes of it.
Yeah.
Because I had an estimate on everything I did, and I'd just make a note and I'd be like, this freaking panel is loose. Like there was, like if I was taking a door panel off and it was loose for some reason, I'd make a note of it. And
Right.
a lot of times I'd go show him, or it got to the point where he just knew, like I wasn't going to lie, and he just trusted what I had to say. But I would go and tell him before I started working on it, I'd be like, hey, just so you know, we got to tear down this door and the fender, but the door panel is loose already. Like there's some clips broken or something's wrong with it to where it's not going to be tight when it comes out of the shop because it's not tight when it came in the shop.
Right.
So that's something like a lot of people that, maybe if you're getting into something, whether it's detailing or working on cars, stuff like that matters because people will tear you apart. And a lot of people are just trying to get something for free.
Everybody is too happy.
Yeah.
My grandpa's always told me that every time. When he knew I wanted to be an entrepreneur-style lifestyle, he's like, just remember, he always calls me son because he, kind of raised me. And he goes, just remember, son, everybody's too happy and they're out for your wallet.
Yeah.
And I mean, he's not wrong,
Yeah.
you know, and I've kind of just, that's why I keep it safe than sorry.
Yeah.
You know, if
Gotta
I'm
do
not
that.
comfortable doing something, then I will not do it.
Mm-hmm.
I won't try it. And I mean, depending on what it is, if it's something I can get in trouble for, legal trouble, I just won't do it anymore. You know, it just saves me the headache, you know, that I just stray away from it.
Yeah.
So.
What's some more like? You willing to give out some tips and tricks for some guys? I know one thing that I was thinking of when we were talking about your soap technique that you use. We don't have to give that one out, but I was thinking about windows. Do you ever use newspaper to clean a window?
No,
Never
no,
use it.
no.
What do you do? Because I never tried it, but everyone always tells me newspaper is the best way to clean a windshield
So
or any glass because it leaves no
when,
streaks.
when
Apparently.
it's on the outside of the glass, I actually don't even use a glass cleaner.
Mm-hmm.
So I have this just a regular CMX ceramic detailer spray for exterior. It's a quick dry. It's got alcohol base in it. So what is Windex and all that stuff? It's alcohol based, right?
Okay.
So water spots are like the biggest thing with windows, and they're terrible. They'll be your worst nightmare if you let them.
Mm-hmm.
You know, there's all kinds of different products out there. I don't usually use Walmart products or O'Reilly's products or any of that stuff. That kind of separates me from the other guys.
Yeah.
You know, I order my stuff online. Like I just ordered a bottle of ceramic coat. I mean, it's
Size of a shot glass.
no bigger than that, and it
Wow.
was $85.
Holy crap.
Okay,
Yeah.
now
How far does it go?
2 or 3 cars.
Wow.
Yeah,
Yeah.
smaller cars.
Yeah.
A truck, 1.5, maybe 2 at the most. But I just ordered one of those, and it's a nano graphene ceramic coat. It's a real ceramic coat, and it's not hard to do, but the conditions you have to do it in is hard. That job right there is going to be $800 to $950 for me.
That's just for ceramic coating.
That is just the ceramic coat.
Because
But
now
I have to clean it and clay bar it before I ceramic coat it.
yeah.
And what it is that ceramic coat. All it is, it's pretty much like another clear coat, but it's 15 to 25% harder than your average clear coat on your vehicle. That's why a lot of people go ceramic, and that's one of the things that I'm starting to offer is ceramic coatings.
It's big. It's
Yeah,
getting very big.
I've done my personal own,
Mm-hmm.
you know, but I never did the actual ceramic coat. Like I never offered it.
Mhm.
So now that I'm offering that, I mean, gosh, I got my first truck like that,
Yeah.
and that's going to be the owner of the Rosebud gas station.
Oh,
I'm
cool.
doing his
John
truck.
Breer.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So
I had him on the podcast. Did you know that?
oh no, I did not.
Yeah,
No.
he came on early days. Like he was like number 10.
Oh yeah.
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 He's an awesome dude.
Oh man, he's
Shout out John Breer.
Yeah. But I had gotten there and talked to him, you know, and we talked about shirts and whatnot, and you know, kind of who I was going through was kind of, you know, like it took 3 weeks to get 8 shirts back, and I'm like,
It's rough.
you know, I can't be doing that.
Mm-hmm.
But we kind of talked about some things like that, you know, and with you heard about the whole incident with Mason Griffith and all
Yeah.
that, right? So
Extremely sad. It's a police officer that got shot and killed in
yeah,
our local area.
Yeah.
For anyone that's listening that's not in our local area, yeah.
yeah,
It's sad.
it
Extremely
really
sad.
was. But I got the opportunity, and I got asked to detail his personal Rosebud police car.
Oh, you know what? I did see that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they had reached out to me, and they're like, "Hey, can you detail this?" And this was the day before the funeral, and it was cold. It was 12 to 15 degrees outside, and I didn't have a shop to do it in. And they're like, "How much would you charge?" I was like, "Materials. That's it." I said everything else is free. So I canceled my appointment for Saturday, and I moved it to next Saturday. And I went and did this car for Mason because I knew Mason
Mm-hmm.
back when I was Gerald Rosebud Fire Department. So they asked me to do that. I did it, and I mean I had to cut and buff this car and polish it and everything. I mean it was so scratched up. It had been neglected for a while. You know what I mean? Um, and I'm sitting here doing this in the freezing weather, taking 5 minutes out of every, like working in 15-minute increments because it's so cold outside. My polish was freezing.
Damn.
My wheel spray for the brake cleaner and everything was freezing as soon as it hit the rim, and it started gelling up like slushy. And it was absolutely horrible. But the next day, you know, I went to the funeral and the viewing and everything, and I seen the car, and it was just it was a relief because the family, that was their ride to the funeral and everything, is that car.
Oh.
And that was Mason's car, you know. And he was chief of police of Rosebud there, and then he worked in Herman and whatnot, and also
so
Gasconade.
So Mason was from Rosebud, Missouri, but he was working down in Herman, Missouri, towards the later part of his career, and then that's where he got shot. But he was spending a large majority of his life in Rosebud, and so his funeral, he lived in Rosebud, Missouri, and that's where they had his funeral.
I believe so. Yeah, they had his. I'm not sure exactly where he kind of grew up and everything like that. I didn't get too far into those details. You know, I didn't know him like I know my best friends, you know, but
Yeah,
I knew him pretty well.
he definitely had a big impact.
Oh my
on the
gosh.
community.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
One of the bigger one of the police officers that like actually cared about his community, and just I mean he had such an impact on so many people's lives, including mine.
Yeah.
Including mine. He was. I mean, there's very few officers that I ever got to know in my entire life, and he was one of them, and just a solid dude.
Oh, he's
A very solid dude.
very genuine.
He was always like he was the one that was like actually involved in the community, wanted to see his community grow, do better. He was very active on social media for the Rosebud area. Like he had, I don't know what the Rosebud page was, and now there's a lot of them that have grown, but like he was like one of the early ones.
Yeah.
That was on social media sharing things about Rosebud. Like because Rosebud's like very increasingly growing, and he was like just early on days just posting just anything, just any type of event or any type of news. He was the Rosebud cop. Like
Yeah, he
if
was.
there was any Rosebud cop to be remembered, it was him for sure.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, because I mean, back in the day, it was in and out. Just random cops just came to Rosebud. It was like their first job, and they just got a job in Rosebud just because they needed to start out somewhere, but then they just left to move somewhere else. But Mason actually loved his community. He loved the Rosebud area, and he just put so much love back into it too.
He put the meaning into serve and protect. I mean,
Yeah, he really did.
He took that meaning to heart, and he based his career out of that, you know, and he always put his family first.
Yeah,
And when I say family, it wasn't just his general family. It was the town,
yeah,
his community. The community was his family, and that's one thing I loved about Mason was he was an all around great guy. Everything he did with his heart.
yeah.
So I mean, it's
It was cool you got the opportunity to
Yeah.
detail a vehicle for him.
oh yeah, and I'm not gonna lie to you, man. I sat there and I teared up as I was doing it because
Really?
I just felt honored to do it. You know,
Yeah.
it hit home for me. So,
Yeah.
we also we're going to be donating. RPM is donating. We did all of last week's details. Everything that I did is going towards the family of
That's
Mason
awesome.
Griffith.
Let's talk about that for a second. And I don't know if you ever thought about this before, and I never really thought about it. But there are some businesses that will, on the death of a person, will try to find, like they take the death of a person and find a way to profit on it, which is so disgusting to see
Yeah.
people do.
I know a few people is doing that with the Mason thing right now.
Yeah, it really shined a light because I never really paid attention to it before because I never had someone this close in the community pass away while I was in business. Back before I was in business, I never donated money. I didn't have any money to donate,
Right. Yeah.
and I was just like I was involved in the community, but not like really involved in the community. But ever since I started a business, my community helps my business grow. So one big thing I like to do is give back to my community.
Oh, 100%.
Any type of sporting event, I love to get back to. Something like this, a tragic event in the community, I like to give back to. I mean, I donate all the time. Churches, random people coming in. I sponsor a bull rider. This little boy, he's like 10 years old. I can't remember his name right now. Sorry, buddy, but I had sponsored him. I love seeing anybody that I just love helping people, and if I can donate money and help them out, like I just sponsored a like a t-ball team, like
Oh,
a
yeah?
young, like a little young baseball team, and I love doing stuff like that. But you see people that own a business that on the death of someone else, they're trying to profit.
Yeah.
You know, if 20% of your proceeds, so like if you buy this from us, 20% of the proceeds goes to them, and they're using the death of someone else to benefit their business.
Yep.
It's not even about benefiting whoever passed away.
Right.
It's a business strategy, a marketing strategy, whatever for them to make money, which
Right.
is so disgusting.
Oh, yeah.
You're using someone's death for profits. That's wrong.
Oh, yeah.
That is
I
so
agree.
wrong.
I agree 100%.
But I did see it a couple times. You said you've seen it too.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're doing it, stop that.
Right.
Stop that.
Yeah, exactly.
But the ones that are doing it, the ones that are actually like you said all your proceeds are going to them. That's awesome.
Yeah.
I tried to donate, try to give back. I don't. I mean, I guess I could have done something like that, but I was just like, I'm just gonna donate some money, and I donate to quite a few different things.
Right. And I'm just not big enough to be able to just take out of the bank account and go.
Yeah.
You know. So
And I didn't know what I could do, other than just being like this amount of my, like, because I'm like, what can I do? Can I do? Because I own a gym, you know, and I'm like, what can I do? Like maybe I thought like maybe you could have like a 5K but it all happens so fast.
yeah, it did.
And it's a lot to plan. And I'm like, I'm sure people would show up for a 5K, but it is also winter. I mean, I guess yesterday was first day of spring,
yeah.
but it's still freaking cold.
It's still
Who's going to show up for a 5K? I mean, I'm sure people would, but I'm like, is it easier just to donate the money and just to move on? Like, I don't need no recognition out of it. I literally need nothing other than the fact that I liked Mason.
Mm-hmm.
I thought he was a great dude. The dude personally helped me out a lot in my life.
Yeah.
He was the first time I ever kicked a renter out of my property. I went to the police station because this was like right during COVID, like right at the very beginning of COVID, and they were saying you can't kick people out due to COVID.
Yeah.
And I went to the police station, and I knew Mason was the only person. I never met him before, but I knew his face.
Yeah.
And I knew he was the Rosebud. Was it chief of
He
police?
was chief of police, yes.
And so I went, I knew he was like the main officer in Rosebud. And I went in and I introduced myself. And I'm like, Mason, I'm Ryan Wilson. And I have a rental property in this community. And I need to kick this guy out because he's not paying rent. And I need to know if I try to kick him out, are you going to be on my side or against me? Because I'm like, I don't want to be fighting the tenant I'm trying to kick out and my police department. And I'm working
Right.
against both of them. And he's like,
I wouldn't be surprised if he threw a joke at you.
no, he
Kinda
was
made it
like,
funny.
he's like, where's your property at? And I told him, and he's like, you tell me what I got to do, and I'm going to help you get this guy.
Oh yeah, that's Mason.
And that was him. He's like, he knew. Well, one, this tenant was just a bad tenant,
Yeah.
like for
You have
me
those.
and the community. Yeah. And he wasn't when he moved in, but he got into drugs, and then I think he was
Yeah.
selling drugs out of my house, and it was this bad thing. And he's like, no, we know this guy. We'll help you in any way we can. He's like, I can't physically go drag this guy out, but he's like, you need to do this. Like this is the first time I ever kicked someone out of a property ever. And he's like, you need to get a hold of attorney. He's like, you need to get a writ of eviction. He's like, it's going to take you this long to do it. But he's like, there's steps to it, but he's like, this is what you need to do. And he's like, you need to go down to Herman today, get this from the Gascony County Courthouse. He's like, contact your attorney, tell him that you want to start this process. And, he helped me all the way. And in that day, he pulled out a business card, and he's like, this is my personal number. If you ever got a problem, call me, text me, whatever. And I did. There was times in life where I needed something, and I'm like, I would shoot him a text. And I'd be like, hey, man, what do you think of this? And he was just, I mean, what other cop? I don't have any other cops' numbers that I
No,
can text.
yeah.
Like, dude was a solid dude. And it was very sad.
100%.
Like, I mean, just, I don't know.
Yeah.
Sad.
I mean, my gratitude goes out towards his family,
Yeah.
So.
Very sad because he had some young boys,
Yeah.
right? 2 young boys?
Yeah, one was part of the fire department.
Yeah,
and,
because he had the one young boy would always ride around. I mean, his son was proud of him. We wore like,
they're two peas in a pod.
yeah,
Yeah.
they were.
They both love their community. So.
Yeah, so it'll be interesting to see how that boy grows up, and I hope they get enough to at least give the kid a good life.
Yeah, for
You
sure.
know, because growing up without a dad is going to be extremely hard. Extremely hard.
Yep.
It's got to be hard. I've never lost a parent before. I could never imagine. I don't want to imagine what it's going to be like just to lose my parents, like when they pass away from old age. Like that's got to be hard. I couldn't imagine losing a parent
Yeah, me
in the line
neither.
of duty like that.
I mean, I haven't had the
Be
greatest
hard.
upcoming, but I've never lost a.
Someone very close
Yeah,
to you.
yeah. It's.
Dude, I've lost a dog and it hurt.
I know.
Dude, yeah, I mean, I had a dog and got hit by a car. It was like, yeah, this little dog was my best friend.
Yeah.
And I remember, I mean, that tore me up. I couldn't imagine. It's not even comparable.
No.
It's not even comparable. And I'm grateful that I've never had to do it. Yeah, and my heart goes out to anyone that has to go do it because that's tough, dude. Tough.
Sure.
So let's.
Potty break.
You want to take a piss break? Yeah, we can do it. So we took a piss break back from that. I want to talk about. Well, I just want to talk. Like, I think it's what you're doing is awesome, and I think, in my opinion, do you do much like content creating or like advertising on social media for your business? Like,
So
what would you say like your level? 10 being you do it every single day.
I try to be a 10.
Yeah.
You know, the reality of it is I do the work. I everything that's involved in the business, I do. I say that I started out doing, right? So I try to do advertisements and all this other stuff. And I mean, Facebook, they want you to pay for advertisements. I'm not in a position to do that yet.
Oh, don't pay for them.
Yeah, so a lot of my work is word of mouth because I do really good work. So, but
I think that I've seen it a lot on TikTok, and I think you should be involved. I think you should just make clips and share like just what you clean and the products that you clean with, and like your shirts. You need to be sharing that, and like I think there's so much that you can really use
well, like I have a Facebook
for advertising.
page, my Facebook page.
No Instagram?
No, I don't even. I've never had Instagram.
Oh, you gotta get Instagram, man.
So that's my flyers there. So that's just some vehicles that I've done.
Yeah.
Like
Get out, people.
the interior lighting on there. That's my truck. I installed the Starlight, that Rolls Royce headliner conversion.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so it changes colors and it's got shooting stars and everything. That cool stuff that you see on like SEMA truck builds, right?
Mhm.
So I do, I do auto detailing, and then I do like custom light installations as well.
Mhm.
So anything from rock lights, like I think it's not tomorrow, Thursday. I have a rock light installation,
Mhm.
and then also the ring lights and the wheels.
Uh-huh.
I have to install those as well.
Sure.
So yeah, I mean I do just about anything. I also do motorcycles. I do boats, like buffing and polishing out boats. I'll go as far as taking a weekend, scheduling up some boats on the weekend. I'll go down to the Ozarks, and
Yeah.
I'll do some cutting and buffing down there.
Yep.
My only stipulation is pull it out of the water.
Yeah.
I'm not dropping my buffer in the water,
Right.
let alone I can't get the full boat in the water.
Yeah, and even if it's a little wet, it's diluting the compounds and stuff too.
Exactly,
So it's
exactly.
gonna make just life so much harder.
Yeah.
You'll do the gel coat or the painted boats.
Yep.
Dang.
Both. Yeah.
Boats are another animal, dude.
Yeah, them
Some
gel.
are massive.
Yeah. So I've done personal boats. I haven't done it for my company yet,
Uh-huh.
which is part of me, wanting to come on here and promote, trying to get bigger, try to get bigger every day, So there's nothing. I mean, as far as like expanding, like we talked about earlier, opening up your varieties of different kinds of work, right? So that's another thing with me when I was talking about the insurance, how anything to do with washing, right? So I'll wash boats, motorcycles, cars, side-by-sides. I'll detail side-by-sides too.
People are starting to ceramic coat their side by sides.
Yes.
Because then they can drive up and down county roads and then at the end of the day, just spray
Rinse
it
it
off,
Yeah.
and it's perfect.
Well, so the paint and stuff on side by side, since it's like plastic and it's just real thin,
Mm-hmm.
super thin, it scratches. Like you wipe it with a microfiber towel, it'll scratch.
Hmm.
It's crazy. It's crazy.
I didn't know
'Cause-
that.
Oh yeah. Well, I also worked at Cowtown over in Cuba.
Yep.
You
Cuba,
know,
sorry.
great dealership. Um, man, I also had to detail out there for them too. You know, working for them. This was kind of one of my little adventures I went on, I guess per se for work. And you know, you barely touch them, and they scratch. I mean, just scratch.
You wouldn't imagine that. You would
No.
imagine because it's a side by side and off road vehicle, it'd be super tough.
Oh yeah. I mean, it's one of the worst paint. I mean, they look good, but it's the worst paint that I've ever dealt with in my life.
Is it the same as a four wheeler plastic, or
Yeah,
is it different?
yeah,
It is the same as a four wheeler.
Yeah, so you know, like colored plastics and stuff, you barely touch them. Well, they scratch like crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Well, like the new ones on all these side by sides. I mean, it's an actual paint and stuff. You know, like they spray it, paint it, everything else with that flex agent inside the paint.
Yeah.
And but I mean, gosh,
Interesting that they do it
it's
like that.
soft. It is
Yeah.
soft, and I mean, I mean, you could just brush up with it on your arm, and it'll haze it and streak it.
So what do you do?
With those, I mean, you can polish it. I wouldn't hit it with anything more than a polish.
Yeah,
That polish will actually cut it down.
I believe
Just
it.
like a cut and buff.
Because people don't know this, but and any type of wax is different, but like polish, buff, cut, any of that stuff has a level of grit to it. Even polish has
Yeah, the
really
gritty of it,
micro
yeah.
fine. Like people think polish is like super like it doesn't have
Even
any.
wax has it in it.
Does wax?
Yeah,
Really?
wax has a gritty. You can't hardly feel it. I mean, you'd probably be able to feel it if you just rub it real tight between your fingers. I
Mhm.
mean, depending on how sensitive your fingers are. But it does. I mean,
You're taking mils off your clear coat every time you cut, buff,
yes.
cut, polish, buff, whatever you want to call it. You're every time you're cutting that clear coat, you're cutting a little bit of
Well,
some mils off every single
right,
time.
right, and that goes into the longevity of your clear coat because I mean, you can only cut so many times.
Yeah.
You know, that's why I say, you know, with this new ceramic stuff that they have out, you know, when after I cut and buff your vehicle, let me ceramic coat it so we won't have to do this again and take away from your clear coat.
Yeah. How long a ceramic coat
Oh
last?
gosh, they got different types. You can get a 1 to 2 year, a 5 year, like a 7 year, and then like the one that I like to use, and pretty much the only one I sell is the 10+ year to like 10 or 12 years.
That's crazy that
Yeah.
it could last that long.
Oh, I know, but it's like re-clear coating your vehicle.
Mm-hmm.
Really, it is because what it does is it bonds to your clear coat, bonds to all the imperfections in your clear coat, all your divots, everything else. It fills those in, right? And when it dries, it's as if you sanded it down and slapped another coat of clear coat on it. That's how it bonds. You know, you don't have to sand or anything like
Is
that.
it
but
hard to get it level?
No, it's self-leveling.
So is it pretty easy to
It is so easy,
really?
so easy, but it's easy to screw up too.
How like where can you go wrong in screwing it up?
Applying it evenly. I mean,
So you can just put too much on.
you can put streaks in it and stuff like that. You'll have run off the sides of your sponge, everything else. I mean, there's so many different factors. You know, your sheet metal on your car could be too hot. It could be too cold.
Yeah.
Stuff
Gotta be
like
right temperature.
Yeah, you know, 72 degree. You know, for paint and stuff like that,
Yeah.
72 to 70 or 75, really, 78 degrees is where you want to.
Even when I was painting, I liked 80 degrees.
Yeah,
I
mean,
set
the
my
hotter
booth
the
a-
better. You know.
I set the booth a little warm just because I like to move fast.
Yeah.
When I was spraying, I was never like I've watched some people they would spray kind of real slow. I wasn't like that.
No, it's easier to get runs when you spray slow.
Yeah, I don't know what I don't know. I just like to move a little faster.
Yeah.
I was spraying.
That's the way I am with buffing. A lot of people will move real slow, right?
Mhm.
No, I'll move fast. So I don't burn the clear coat.
Yeah,
I stay moving fast. I keep my buffer moving.
Mhm.
I'll wipe down.
don't let it sit in one spot for too long.
No.
It hurts when you burn do something.
Oh, yeah. And then I have burnt something before, and I was able to get it out because it was a newer paint job.
Hmm.
But I was able to get it out because I was able to cut it down just past where it burnt. Um, but I've learned since then. I'm a lot better, so that don't happen. But I mean, I'll wipe down if I see anything else. I'll start again. And that's the thing that kind of separates me from other people, right? So a lot of people they're in it for the dollar, right? Which makes sense.
Yeah.
I'm in it to see smiles on people's faces. Of course, I got to make money,
Yeah.
just like everybody else.
Yep.
But I love seeing a smile on somebody's face when they bring their stuff back.
That's the
And they're-
satisfaction for you.
Yeah, and there's
That's the reward.
yeah, and there's like, damn.
Looks damn good.
Sometimes I'll walk off without getting a payment because I forget about the payment.
Yeah, you just
And I'll be like, "Oh, hey, by the way, this was the bill. Catch up with me later." There's a couple of times that I've done that because I'm so ecstatic in the reaction of the customer. I'm like, "This is what I'm here for.
yeah,
I want to see that face."
every single time.
Oh
yeah.
yeah,
I get it.
100%. And it makes me feel good because
That's how it was
I'm good at
painting a
what I do.
car.
Yeah, yeah.
Paint a
100%.
car and it just looks so good, and everybody, like people just love the way it looks when it's done.
Well,
better than it
as
ever
a
did.
man, we like to complete stuff, right? We like to take stuff that's crappy and make it look better.
At least I did.
Yeah, that's just kind of I mean, for the most part, that's most men, from what I understand. I'm
would-
that way.
I would imagine most people are like that.
Right, right. And they at least like to see the difference in that. I everything that I'm doing, like just my whole life, I have to see progress. If I don't see progress, I lose interest.
hmm
So that's been a lot of my issue. A lot of people know, like growing up and stuff, I've kind of job hopped. Um,
I think that comes from being an entrepreneur too, though.
yeah. So I've always wanted to better myself, right? So there's been plenty of times I've started out, at a $12 an hour job, get a $13 an hour job offer, move up, all the way up to 46.50 an hour, right? So, and then I made the big bucks for a while, but it wasn't satisfying me.
Yeah, it was
Not
just,
the money, but the job itself because it was very repetitive.
Yep.
There was no progress.
Yeah.
It seemed like.
Yep.
So there was more to it than the money. Because
Yep.
at first I thought it was just the money. I was chasing the dollar,
Yep.
and there was
Well,
just
that's what they tell you.
Yeah,
Go
yeah.
get a good job.
Yeah, it's just part of being raised
Hey.
up. There's this line that they tell you that you have to follow to be successful.
Yeah.
Well, that's not true.
No, it's not at all.
You
Not when you're not happy every single day.
You make your own line.
Yeah, absolutely.
Just like you did.
Yeah,
You
that's. I think chasing happiness. You got to make money along the way.
Oh, for sure.
Like the fact that people are like they think that you can't make money without being greedy is so wrong.
Yeah.
Like that idea is so wrong. But I think you should chase happiness and then find ways to make money along with it.
Exactly.
Like whatever you like to go find out whatever you like to do that and keep chasing that until you don't even have you don't have to detail cars the rest of your life. I don't have to own a gym the rest of my life. I don't have to own rentals the rest of my life. I didn't have to do auto body the rest of my life. People think you have to do the same thing every single day. I don't believe that at all.
No.
I think you get it because there's not a, I mean, maybe some people, but most people aren't liking the same thing they do now as they did 10 years ago. And in 10 years, they're probably not going to like doing the same thing.
Exactly.
The people that are doing the same job for 40 years, 50 years, 60 years, probably hate it.
Oh yeah.
Probably
Most of them do.
hate it. I don't know a lot of people that have been doing the same job their entire life and they're like, I still love it. I love coming to work.
Yeah,
It's
no,
still get excited. It's not like that.
They're counting down to retirement.
Yeah, they're just
They're stuck.
they're
They've been
stuck.
in
They're
it.
in a rut and they just giving in. And I think that's the difference between like us and some other people is that we maybe fight back a little more.
Yeah.
Like we just push back and we kind of go against the grain and we do our own thing.
Well, part of my thing is like growing up, right? I chose the hard road,
Yep.
when I was younger.
Yep. Had to
Um,
learn things the hard way.
yeah, I did. I was
Yeah.
hard-headed.
Same.
I was very stubborn.
Yep.
And so I've seen some lows. I've seen some really lows, So taking that experience, knowing that life ain't so bad, I can go into something looking at like, well, this is the worst that can happen. So been there, done that. I've worked my way up from it before. So if it happens, screw it. I won't know if unless I try.
Hmm.
So I'll go ahead and try it, But
What was the hardest thing, like when you were starting your own business? Like when you're going all out in it, what was the hardest part for you?
explaining to everybody else what I'm doing.
Just changing?
Yeah. Um, Getting all the rude comments. You can't do that. You need to work a 9 to 5.
The pressure from everybody
Yeah,
else.
yeah.
That was the hardest part to get over.
I still.
Was it mentally hard to get over, or was it just
It's pretty.
physically hard to get past some of the people that were like are in your life trying to hold you back? Like, or was it a mental thing where it was just weighing on you mentally? And
I mean, it's really both, because you always got them people coming at you, or you got somebody that knows more than you do
Mhm.
that comes at you. Oh, you're not doing that right.
Yeah.
You know, well, that's my way of doing it.
Hmm.
This is how I do it, and I have the same outcome.
Every time that I've taken somebody else's opinion on what I should do with my life, that's whenever I went down the wrong path.
Yeah.
I mean, every single time. And it wasn't until I started choosing what I like to do. Because there was a time when I was in high school and I was trying to figure out what I was going to do after high school. The only thing I liked was auto body. And I chose to take someone else's opinion of what I should do. And it screwed up like a year and a half of my life.
Right.
Because I was trying to go down that path and then that path didn't work out. And I knew instantly, like in my gut, I didn't like it. So then I was going to school for something I didn't like. So then I drop out and then I go to another school because everyone's like, well, you should go to school and figure out what you need to do with your life.
Go to Rolla Tech.
I went to East Central
Okay.
East Central College in Union, Missouri.
Yeah.
It was just a community college.
Right.
And I was just taking classes.
Yeah.
I started off going for I went to Lynn Tech initially.
Oh, yeah,
For
yeah.
electrician.
Yeah.
Which I didn't like electrical work at all. I don't like math, so it was not down my alley at all.
I tried it myself.
So I dropped out after 2 days. I knew that quick. And then but then it was like, okay, well now you got to do something in your life because now you're a loser that's not going to school and you don't have a career. And so now let's go join a community college. Well, I wasted 2 semesters there. So now I'm a year and a half in before I started my out of body schooling. And I did that for a year and I felt, I liked it. I felt like that was where I was supposed to be at in
Right.
life. Like for once I was like, oh, this feels right. And so, yeah, screw everyone else's opinion. Why does everybody else think that they know what's best for somebody else?
It's because they're not happy with themselves, man.
And I fear it's exactly what it is.
Yeah.
And I
Jealousy.
I think it's also a part of the thing of just everybody thinking they know what's best. And that's why
Too many Chiefs, not enough Indians.
yeah, I give my opinion out sometimes, but I try to make sure that when I tell people, it's like, I even tell them, like, I think this is what you should do, but I also fear telling you that because I don't know what you want.
Right.
Like, I don't know what you want to do. I'm like, I'm like, chase your happiness, but also it's like, well, maybe that's not the good path for them. Like some people aren't leaders. Some people are followers. Some people like being told what to do every day. It makes their life so much easier. So like my fear is to tell someone to go do what they want, but what they want is to be told what to do every day.
Yeah, see, I had a big problem with that growing up,
Yeah.
And like today, I don't, but it's just part of maturing, I just didn't like to be told what to do,
Yeah.
I wanted to go a certain route. Well, I was dead set on going that route.
Hmm.
Well, my grandpa or whoever would be like, well, I think you should do this. I'm like, yeah, but,
Hmm.
so I would just go ahead and go my own route anyway. But, that's just part of it. You got leaders and you got followers, then you got people,
And anyone could be either one.
yeah.
Just what you want to be.
Yeah, and I work by
Nothing wrong with either one of them either.
No, nothing
We
wrong
need
with
them both.
Yeah, exactly.
We need them both.
Exactly. And, one thing that I've always kind of lived by my life by is work smarter, not harder.
Hmm.
And my uncle always told me that. He's like, work smarter, not harder. And he'd kind of smack me on the back of the head. Like, come on, Jet. Work smarter, not harder. And so, he finally got it in my head to work smarter, not harder. I make my money with my brains and not my arms.
Hmm.
Which,
I
kind of use both. But,
Yeah. Well, what he's saying is, buy the tools that you need.
yeah.
Buy the right products that you need.
Yeah.
Don't sell yourself short. Figure out methods to doing your job quickly and efficiently. Improve on your stuff. Like take the time to maybe learn how to invoice properly.
Yeah,
Do things
it's means
properly.
and methods. Find the set of means and methods that fit your skill set.
Yeah.
And this is kind of, I mean,
And you learn it along the way.
yeah.
You don't just
I learn every day.
but you don't learn unless you get out and do it.
Exactly.
Because a lot of people fall into analysis paralysis where they just like, well, I haven't learned enough.
Yeah.
I need to figure out how to do invoices first. Or I need to learn how to shampoo cars before I start doing it. It's like, no, just start it.
Well, it's
Learn
just
along
like
the way.
my old lady's little cousin. He wants to pay me. Okay. He wanted me to detail his car at first. And I kind of got, he's younger. Gosh, I think he's 17 or whatever. I said, I'll teach you how to detail your car. I said, I ain't going to detail it for you. So, but I'll teach you. And he's like, well, I don't know how to. I was like, you don't know how to use a vacuum?
Mhm.
You don't know how to make something. You don't know how to know something's dirty? I mean, that's really what it is. Yes, there's means and methods to cleaning.
Yeah.
And that's the stuff that I will teach. There's tricks,
You're
whatever.
never going to learn unless you start it.
Yeah,
Unless you
and
just
the
try
big
it.
thing about detailing is knowing your chemicals, what to use and what not to use. That is the biggest thing. Like paint, too. If you're
Yeah.
doing exterior detailing, you got to know what you can and cannot use.
Mhm.
A lot of people will take, like on some hostile wheels, they'll just take an acid cleaner and just spray it down, not knowing what.
It's an aluminum wheel.
Yeah, it will. It won't. It'll ruin the finish.
It
is what it'll do.
whitens them, right?
Yes,
When you
yeah.
spray an acid on an
Yes.
aluminum wheel, it whitens it.
Yes,
And,
yes.
and you have to seriously cut and buff
Oh, for
to
sure.
get past it.
And I don't so much do a lot of the wheel polishing. That's my buddy Logan Gross.
Yeah,
You can
Logan
find,
Gross.
yeah, you can find him out there doing his thing.
Is that LG polishing? Is that where he's at?
Oh, I cannot remember the name of
He's
his
killing it
company.
with the polishing.
Oh
ain't
yeah,
he?
he's so good at it.
Yeah.
He is so good at it.
But he like
That is what he specializes
specializes
in.
in
Yeah.
polishing.
Yes, exactly.
Just like anything aluminum polishing, or is it?
As far
'Cause
as
he
I know,
does-
he polishes everything. I watched him. I watched him polish a fire extinguisher one time. It was this old raggedy thing, and it just turned out like a mirror.
Wow.
I mean, it was amazing.
But it was a stainless one.
I don't know what it was, to be honest with you.
Was it silver or red?
It was silver.
Yeah, because when you think fire extinguisher, you think a red one.
Yeah, yeah.
But anything with like
Oh,
I think
it was an old fashioned, like it had to have been stainless or something.
Yeah.
I mean,
I
stainless or
think it's-
aluminum. One
Yeah, I
of
think
the
it's
two.
one of the two. Like he specializes in that.
Yeah.
Basically
so-
making it to where you can have a mirror finish on it.
Yeah, yeah, and a lot
I'm
of
sure
it
he does
is like,
chrome too.
oh yeah, yeah, like he'll do forged aluminum and stuff like that. And I mean, a lot of people will be like, oh, don't go to him, go to me. No,
Have you ever thought about
Like-
trying to partner with him?
I have not. I don't know.
man.
Yeah,
You guys could have a hell of a shop.
yeah, we could
Partner up together, take two businesses, bring them in.
Yeah, I
You know,
mean,
where you guys are
it's-
both sharing work.
Yeah, I'm not against it. You
Yeah.
know, I'm always open ideas.
You
My
should get with
mind
him
is,
and just brainstorm.
yeah, yeah, but I don't know if he's doing it full time still or
But
if
you want
he's-
to.
Yeah, yeah,
If you can make enough money.
yeah, yeah. I mean, that's part of
You know, it helps having someone split the rent too.
Yeah,
You guys both have a shop.
I'm still
That's
trying to
what
find
they're-
a shop. I had one that I thought was going to go, but it's in the city owns it, and it's in the middle of somebody just bought it from the city, and it's in the middle of getting figured out what they want to do with it. So,
Sure.
and actually, my old lady's parents used to own that shop, and
Hmm.
they run Autotech, automotive repair shop out of it. So, and like I said, it has the tall bays so that I can do semis and fleet trucks and stuff
Yeah.
like that, because that's something doing polishing and all that. That's a big ordeal.
Yeah, it is.
So,
And in the winter, like right now, or in the heat of the summer, you need a climate controlled shop.
yeah, 100%. And that's where Logan could come in. He's doing the wheels and I'm doing the paint.
Yeah,
Um,
absolutely. I mean, imagine a guy with a semi truck.
Yeah.
Wants to get his truck detailed. You detail it inside and outside. Logan does the polishing on it. Takes a week to get it done, but it comes out there looking like a brand new truck.
oh yeah, for sure. If me and Logan got on it, it'd look brand new.
Yeah.
So, yeah, man. I mean,
Sometimes people need to partner up like that.
yeah,
Split rent,
yeah,
bring in business together. I think it matters.
yeah.
I think it matters,
It could
especially in small businesses like that,
yeah.
because it's small businesses don't make that much money.
No,
Not like millions.
no.
No, it's not corporations that are.
It depends how
cash flow
far
crazy.
you get out of your comfort zone.
Yeah.
I could take this
That's why I'm
sucker.
telling you, you need to get on social media, man.
Yeah, yeah,
Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, daily videos, daily pictures. Let people know you're alive.
yeah,
I think that right there. There's a book. It's called The Pumpkin Plan. I read it, and one of the big things in it he talks about is in a business that is competitive. You know, I own a gym. It's competitive with. I mean, anyone could start a gym. It's pretty easy.
yeah,
You know, you buy a building, put equipment in it. Detailing, it's pretty competitive. And a lot of small businesses are competitive.
yeah,
They're pretty easy to get into. It takes some guts to get into them, but they're competitive. But he talks about in a business, if you want to compete and be one of the better ones, you got to offer what everybody else is offering, plus something else, and be
Yeah.
better. That's how you're going to be better than someone else. So like, you got to have something that makes you stand out. You got to have a reason to make them come to you. But if there's a
that's that custom lighting. Because when I did this Starlight headliner kit in my truck, or when I bought the kit, I looked around everywhere for somebody to do it. Couldn't find nobody to do it.
Mhm.
I'm like, man, who does this? Looked around, looked in Raleigh, looked in St. Louis, couldn't find nobody to do it. So I was like, I'll do it my dang self,
Mhm.
you know. And I ended up doing it. And I've always installed lights on my vehicles and stuff like that. And friends' vehicles, they were always hitting me up to install radios, speakers, subwoofers. I mean, throughout high school, I was always the one that installed this stuff because I always had the nice system or whatever. And it would, man, I could have two junk subs that would hit harder than somebody's expensive freaking Rockfords, and it's all in the setup and the air movement and everything, right? So a lot of people don't know that. They just think, oh, well, I have more wattage than you. That
Sure.
don't matter.
Yeah.
I can make two 500 watts hit harder than your 2,000 watts,
Sure.
So it was always, hey, everybody called me Jut. That's my nickname. Can you install my subs, headlights, whatever, So I was always doing that. I was like, well, why don't I incorporate that into this?
Mhm.
Because I can't find nobody to even do my own stuff.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's not so much that I really wanted to do it because it's kind of a pain to do,
Sure.
but it's business, baby.
Yeah. Right.
It's
Part of it.
business. So
I think there's a whole opportunity there for like a whole accessories
yeah,
like,
exactly.
business right there. Not just doing headliners, but all kinds of accessories for vehicles.
Well, I'm hoping to get into like your Franklin County Jeep Club and stuff like that and do like a lot of their custom lighting and stuff. But the problem with that is most of them boys, they go out and do it themselves, because we're all from small town. We learn to do stuff ourselves.
Offer a good price, good products, people will come to you.
Yeah.
Because it gets to a point where, sure, you're right. A lot of guys like to do it themselves. But there gets to be points where they buy a new vehicle. Maybe they plan this out where they're like, I got to have these rock lights on it.
Right.
So I want to have these rock lights on it, but they don't have time. So they're like, if you're putting it on your social media pages where they can go and look, they're like, they can look at RPM. Maybe you call it RPM accessories.
Yeah.
And then or whatever you call it, but they're looking through it and they can find out the price right through your Facebook or right through your website or whatever, and they know exactly what the install is going to cost, what the lights are going to cost, and they can just throw it in there because that's something I would do.
Yeah.
I would be looking through it. I'm like, okay, I want to get this installed in my vehicle, and I'm buying the vehicle, and now it's part of the cost of the vehicle. So now I just add an extra $500 to the loan, get it done because I'm going to be using this vehicle all the time.
Right.
And I do that all the time. Like if I just bought a Camaro 6 months ago, and I knew it was going to need a tune for some stuff that was done to it, and I made sure I planned out an extra $650 for the tune.
Right.
But if it's not out there, if it's not out there for me to go easily find, and it's hard to reach out to a company because like the company, it did suck. I remember I had to reach out to them via email, and then they had to email me back, and it took them 4 days. And it's like, well, that sucks. It would have been a lot nicer if there was a shop that would just have the prices online. I can go and find it, but most people aren't active on.
Well, my
with
plan
pricing
is
and everything.
right. And my plan is to get a shop with some type of like showroom or something, right? And find a wholesaler, buy products like accessories, like your lights, subs, sub boxes.
What about like amp steps, stuff like that?
Yeah, just accessory stuff, right? Like, what is it? Chuck's Trucks. I think they have in Olathe, Kansas. So they're a truck accessory place. I mean, gosh, they stay busy. They have an online website too where you can order from them. I just want to be kind of an in-store type of accessory seller too. I mean, um, to be able to just do that and we also install them type of thing, you
Yeah.
know. So people come to us like they want tonneau covers, right?
Yeah.
So
Exactly. That'd be a great one.
they want to buy a tonneau cover and they don't know how to install it, you know. It's some
Yeah.
old timer.
Maybe they don't want to.
Yeah, they just don't want to. And be like, well, you know, you buy this, we install it for free.
Yeah.
You bump up the price a little bit of the
Sure.
item, of course, you
If you
know.
buy it from us, we give you half price on install or something.
Yeah, something of the sort. Make it fair, you know.
Yeah.
But that's really what I want to get into, you know. This
Spray
is
and bed liners are a big one too.
yeah, for sure. You
That's a
know,
good
I
one.
really thought about doing spray foam insulation before I started this.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
You are an entrepreneur.
Yeah, so I know somebody that does it down in southeast Kansas. It's actually one of my father-in-laws on my brother's wife's side. He owns a big construction business and he does spray foam insulation. They just built a huge mansion of a house, like barndominium style, right? And it's black and gray and fancy and whatnot. But you know, seeing people succeed like that, I don't really look at them and be like, well, it must be nice. You know, I hate that saying.
I hate that too.
You know, I mean, some people, like, I understand mommy and daddy's kids that have a nice truck when they're 15 years old driving around in a freaking new F-150, you know.
Which I don't think
That-
there's nothing wrong with that either. Though.
No, I don't. You know, it to me, yeah, it must be nice, but it must be nice to have parents, in my sense, is what I'm saying when it comes to that. But when I look at somebody like your age or my age or whatever, and they got something nice, you know, a lot of people, they tell me nice truck, you know, my Dodge out there. And just like you did this morning, it's like, hey, I dig
Yeah,
your truck, you
It
know.
is a nice truck.
Yeah, you know.
I like the fact that you put your wrap on the side too.
Yeah,
Your
and you
business.
know, it wasn't always like that. I worked for that truck. That
Mhm.
truck's paid off. I worked for that truck.
hmm
Now, I did do a lot of buy, selling, trading, and flipping cars for that truck,
Yeah.
but I still worked for that truck.
Yeah.
I worked smarter, not harder.
Yeah. There's a level of it's just hard work.
Yeah.
You know, and respect when someone earns it like that,
Oh yeah.
and you learn a lot about yourself along the way.
Oh, for sure. And I get a lot of crap about that, buying and selling vehicles. Why don't you just keep something? Why don't I mean, man, I get bored with vehicles.
Yeah.
You know?
And there's no money in keeping it.
No, no,
You
it
make your money
costs
when you
you
sell it.
money. Yeah, exactly. So, you know, I'll buy something like that truck. It needed a whole bunch of stuff. I had to tear into the transmission when I bought it. You know, I added all the LEDs, all the lights, everything that you see on the truck now. I added all that stuff. So it really made the truck what it is today. And it didn't seem like it, you know, looking back, but I look at comparison videos and it's like, wow, that is a big change. But it's all comes down to working smarter, not harder, you know. I mean, you work hard as you can, of course, you know. But just I work I make my money by trying to be smart about it, you
Yeah.
know.
Absolutely.
And man, I've turned $500 into $25,000
Yeah.
pretty quick doing
That's
it.
awesome.
So, but I've also lost my ass a couple times.
Yeah.
You know, it's part of it.
Yeah. You can't win all the time.
No, you know, it's all fun and games, but it's just a hobby that I used to do, and everybody knows me as the guy that's always got something different. You know, he's always
Sure.
got a different vehicle,
I
different.
think it's just
truck.
part of being a car guy too.
Yeah, and I'm a super car guy. Anything with a motor. I mean,
And I always used to tell everyone, like, because I was a car guy, I'm like, well, I can't afford to have all these different ones, so I can buy it, drive it, enjoy it, and then I can't afford to keep it and buy another one, so I sell it and I buy the next thing I want.
well, my
trying
thing
them out.
is like summertime, I'd buy a fast car. Come wintertime, I'd trade it for a 4x4.
Sure,
You know.
that's a popular thing to do.
Yeah, so I mean, I used to do that all the time. I'm starting to settle down now. You know, I've had my truck for a little bit now, and just kind of like my truck's online for sale, of course. Everything I have is for sale for the right price,
Sure.
but I've had offers on my truck for what I'm asking, and I still can't sell it.
Yeah.
You know, so
Some people just get so attached, and some people don't like to change.
yeah,
Some people don't like some people can't. They're like, dude, I gotta sell this car again. I gotta meet this guy. I gotta go buy another car. A lot of people don't want to go through all that. It's a lot of hassle for them.
even for me, it's a lot of hassle. But
Yeah.
at the end of the day, when I got that new truck sitting in my driveway, I walk out to it the next morning. I'm like, Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's go for a cruise, you know?
Yeah, that's just the difference.
Yeah. Yeah. And
It's,
it's all in the mindset of the person, you know?
you're hungry.
Yeah. I'm very hungry.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm the same way.
Yeah.
And as I've grown in, because I got out of cars because it's a hard struggle.
It is.
It's a hustle, but it's a hard hustle, and I just realized that I like a lot of other things too, and I devoted a lot of time to it,
Yeah.
and I think you will too.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
I think you will too. I think you're just getting started.
Oh,
You obviously have a lot of ideas.
hmm
And I think it'd be interesting to see, like, come a couple years to see where you're at in a couple years.
yeah. I've got this whole plan, you know? I mean, all of it's kind of, I want to say weather permitting, you know, in a sense of life. But I've got a plan, kind of a sketch that I'm kind of following through. You know, it was just starting up the auto detailing, get that back up and going because, like I said, I used to own that old detailing shop in Beaufort before COVID kind of hit, you know. And
Yeah.
at the time, I was running that and I was running Smart Renovations, which was a remodeling company.
Mm-hmm.
So I hired somebody to sit there and clean cars at my shop while I was going out and
Doing innovation work.
doing renovation work. Well, I partnered with Gilda House Construction
Sure.
out of New Haven,
Mm-hmm.
and man, he was shooting me a lot of work, you know. And I just got to the point I had to hire guys for that, and then it was just like, you know, doing two things at once, and then COVID hit, and it was boom, done.
Yeah.
You know, there was a couple times I bailed a guy out of jail that worked for me a couple times
Just
just
so
so
he
he
could
could go to work.
Yeah.
It's just like, but nobody wanted to work. That was my problem. So I had to take what I could get. You know,
Yeah.
because I really, even if it was just holding up a board, you know, hold this pole while I pour this concrete in here. You know, get it ready.
Yeah.
You know, that's just that extra hand you really needed.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, someday I'll get back there again.
Yeah.
But as of right now, you know, it's me and my other half. We just kind of do everything. She does a lot of the Facebook stuff for me now. I mean, it's kind of awesome because I can kind of step away from that.
Yeah.
She's doing a pretty good job too. Like
It's a full-time job.
oh man, she'll come and she works 60 hours a week.
Yeah.
She's GM at Hardee's in Cuba,
Mm-hmm.
and she works 60 hours a week. Then comes home and does all this other stuff.
Yeah.
Like
Sounds like a hustler there too.
oh, she is. She's great, man. She pushes me to be my best self.
Cool.
So I've never really had that in my life.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's different. It's weird, and I kind of push away from it sometimes. You know, I'm like, just chill out. But for the most part, I mean, I'm so grateful for her because I don't. If it wasn't for her, I don't know if I would have started this back up because she has had my back since
Oh,
day
cool.
one.
Yeah.
Like, I think you should do it. I'm like, what?
Yeah. Yeah.
Come again?
Well, you into reading at all?
No.
You
No.
should read. You should read Rich Dad Poor Dad. I think you'd connect with it a lot. I said so many podcasts
That
I've told people to
Jackie
read
Chan
it.
on there.
That's Robert Kiyosaki. He's awesome, dude. He's
Yeah.
the number one seller for like 25 years. Well, that one says 20 years on it, but I bought that book years ago. But it's like one of the number one financial help books out there.
Yeah, I've never really been into reading, you know. I'll Google something and read on about a vehicle or something.
It'll
but-
change. I think it'll change a lot of your mindset on the way. It's one of those things like, you know, most people are always trying to learn, and people sleep on books. People try to get out there on social media and like from TikTok or YouTube or whatever, and they're trying to watch a video on how to improve their business or how to do something. But there's some things that have been in business that have proven themselves successful for a very long time, like lessons that they never taught in school. It's hard to, I don't know why it doesn't get like pushed over onto social media more. Like the lessons don't get pushed over more, but the books are great because they talk about the lessons that are very important to learn to make, like, it's financial education and how to change your mind mentally.
That's another thing, though, is like schools and stuff. They don't teach you this stuff that we're sitting here talking about.
No,
They really don't.
and that's why you got to get your own books. dude.
Yeah, yeah,
But they're teaching you to be employees, not business owners.
yeah, exactly. You know,
we
and
need employees.
they teach you the bare minimum.
I'm pretty sure it was Rockefeller back in the day that started, like the Rockefellers that started the education system.
Yeah,
Because they needed employees.
right.
these
They needed
corporations they were
somebody that wasn't dumb in a sense to come work for them and be able to do something.
Yeah, they need to be able to teach them a general education
Mm-hmm.
because they needed them to come and work in their factories and have some level of education.
Right.
So they started schools.
Yep.
I'm pretty sure that's how it started out.
I'm not sure, but I wouldn't doubt it.
I would bet. Check this book out. Let's wrap this podcast up because I think we're about an hour and a half in. Looks like an hour and 47 minutes. So we're in it a bit. Justin, thank you so much for coming out on the
problem.
podcast. Before you leave, I want you to sign this with your business name on it. Definitely check out the book. Anyone that's listening right now, make sure you guys like, subscribe, share with your friends, hit that bell notification. And thank you guys for listening. Peace.
Thanks, man.